This is Lauren Russell, and I'm presenting my project, Determinants of Teacher Job Satisfaction in Instructional Practice, Principal Support, Collaboration, and Professional Development. The purpose of this study, or this proposed study, is to examine whether principal support efforts, collaboration opportunities for teachers, and professional development activities contribute to the instructional practice and teacher job satisfaction in middle-level schools in the United States. The design methodology is a causal comparative design utilizing multi-level methodology, and that will be applied to the Teaching and Learning International Survey dataset from 2018 to examine the study variables. The linear model will be used to investigate whether principal support, teacher collaboration, and teacher professional development can predict teacher job satisfaction and predict teacher instructional practice. Teacher instructional practice and job satisfaction in public schools are both hot topics in educational research. Developments in the accountability in the United States have emphasized the importance of the role the principal plays in leading instructional improvements and enabling teachers to improve their instructional practices. Teacher job satisfaction is also closely related to the perceived principal support. It's known that teachers that do not feel supported and encouraged do not commit to personal growth, nor do they experience high levels of satisfaction in their jobs. There are many factors that principals control that have influence over both of those variables. The climate is one of those items that the principal can make a lot of effort to control and that can improve job satisfaction. A number of researchers have investigated the relationship between principal support and instructional practice and job satisfaction, and they are all interrelated. The proposed study will examine the relationship of principal support, collaboration, and professional development with teacher instructional practice and job satisfaction to determine whether these factors differ by the level of teacher experience. Simply put, if teachers do not remain in the profession, or if teachers do not remain in the profession because of poor levels of satisfaction, schools continue to have to employ inexperienced teachers that have not reached the level of effectiveness in instructional practice that is needed to increase academic achievement. Inexperienced teachers have not spent enough time in the classroom often and are not as effective as their more experienced counterparts. Teacher job satisfaction is an area that's been studied so much. Most of the definitions of job satisfaction include the degree to which an individual identifies, contributes positively, or feels valued within their school. Evidence suggests that when job satisfaction is high, teachers are satisfied with principal support, collaborative opportunities, and the professional development. Due to the importance of job satisfaction, it's necessary to identify factors that positively impact teaching and influence teacher attitudes. One possible positive factor that has been found to strongly influence job satisfaction is also related to school climate, specifically principal support. Principals have considered a considerable influence over school climate, which translates partially to the perceived level of support by teachers. According to the National School Climate Center, school climate refers to the quality and character of school life. School climate is based on patterns of students, parents, and school personnel's experience of school life and reflects norms, goals, values, and interpersonal relationships, teaching and learning practices, and organizational structures. The three variables are collaboration, professional development, and the instructional practice. Those are the three that I'm going to discuss here. Collaboration and cooperation among teachers has been valued as a way to foster innovation, increase teacher self-efficacy, and substantially increase job satisfaction. Professional development is a necessary, sometimes evil, in public schools, as we're all required to participate, but ESSA has strengthened that definition of professional development. It does require that principals, school leaders, support personnel, paraprofessionals, and even early childhood educators participate. It eliminates the No Child Left Behind focus on core academic subjects. The definition says PD needs to be sustained. It can't be one-on-one, one day, short-term. It must be intensive, collaborative, embedded in the job, data-driven, and classroom-focused. Instructional practice, then, is professional development is closely related to instructional practice, and the choices teachers make in the classroom. Professional development and collaboration directly inform instructional practice. When teachers are able to spend time working together, their instructional practice also improves. This conceptual model is what I came up with for my paper. However, I'm not 100% sure that everything is shown in the direction it needs to be shown, and I'm sure that after I have the experience of some of the more difficult levels of advanced statistics, I will be able to make this make more sense to myself. But you can see the variables, the dependent and independent variables, and then the outcomes. The research questions that I would attempt to answer in this proposed study are: do administrative support, professional development, and collaboration opportunities significantly predict teacher job satisfaction? And number 2, do administrative support, professional development, and collaboration contribute to teacher instructional practice? And then the third question, do perceived principal support, professional development, instructional practice, and collaboration opportunities differ by teacher experience? The proposed study is quantitative, naturalistic in nature, and uses a causal comparative design. The data source will be the Teaching and Learning International Survey from 2018, which actually came out in the beginning of July. It was administered by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and I believe this last study included 48 nations around the world. This will be a secondary data analysis. The sample used in TALIS included middle-level teachers in schools in the United States. All participating countries surveyed lower secondary schools or middle-level secondary schools and offered additional options for lower level and upper level. The sample size was set at 20 teachers within each participating school. The minimum sample of schools was 200 that were drawn from the population of qualifying schools. The minimum sample of teachers per country was 4,000, and the targeted response rate was 75%. To be considered as a responding school, 50% of teachers within the school had to respond to the initial survey. The questionnaires were created for teachers and principals separately and required from 45 minutes to 1 hour to complete. And the actual instrument was designed during the period between September of 2015 and August of 17. Researchers conducted 3 separate phases: a pilot study, a field trial, and then psychometric analysis prior to the main survey. Data cleaning for TALIS 2018 was conducted through processing tools developed by the International Study Center. Obviously, these would have been applied to the United States, which would be the sample group for this study or proposed study. Structure query language and statistical packages for social sciences will be used to complete the process. Data cleaning programs are applied to data only after being tested using simulated data sets that contain all of the expected inconsistencies. The TALIS team performed all of these functions before all the results were reported. Once data cleaning for a participant country was completed, the cleaning checks were repeated to check for problems that could have been caused during the original cleaning process. All of these data cleaning processes were applied to each country's data. The remaining sections of this paper are still quite a mystery to me. I will continue to learn as I get to complete the Advanced Statistics course and the Administrative Lead Theory course. Organizational Systems Analysis and Design will, I'm sure, help inform my abilities when it comes to these sorts of papers and quantitative articles. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to offer in the future. Thanks for your help and for working with me.